Up with KREM begins now.
Good Monday morning. Thank you for joining us here on Up with KREM. I'm Brandon T. Jones. We have made it to another week. You know, that's something to celebrate. I know it's Monday, maybe a little bit sleepy, but we do have meteorologist Thomas Patrick, and maybe a little bit of that cold weather might wake some of us up this morning. Thomas, what do you think?
That, or it wants to keep you under the covers in bed. So if you're just kind of watching us on the far TV, it's like, I don't want to go outside. I don't blame you. It is definitely pretty cold out there. I think at 40 degrees, that's the coldest it's been so far in Spokane. Might have hit 30s or like 39 once earlier last week, but it does look like this is one of our colder mornings we've had across the inland Northwest. There are your current temperatures. We are at the freezing mark in Coeur d'Alene and Sandpoint, well into the 20s at Deer Park at 26 degrees. And while Spokane officially has 40, that's at the airport, at lower elevations of the county, it is likely colder than that because of the temperature inversion. So if there's a bit of frost on the ground, I wouldn't be surprised. Frost advisories issued across central Washington this morning, and those are in effect until 9 a.m.
All right, Thomas, I'll tell you what, I'm not looking forward to scraping ice off of my windows anytime soon. Right now, though, we're taking a live look at I-90 in Sprague. Things moving nice and smooth here this morning. Most of our cameras showing similar images right here. Traffic nice and slow at this particular time. And of course, it's still early here this morning, so we'll keep an eye on those cameras to give you an idea ahead of your morning commute. Well, this week, the City of Spokane is launching a two-part program they say will strengthen help for the homeless. The program creates new procedures for street outreach, and it provides a new day-use resource hub. The city says this part of the Mayor Lisa Brown's Home Starts Here initiative, and the city describes 4 outreach teams, an effort between Spokane Police, code enforcement, and Catholic Charities social workers that'll help provide services to those experiencing homelessness. The program also introduced a new 311 line that can be used if someone is in need of help with non-life-threatening situations.
Police see somebody, they'll be able to help dispatch this team out to get to those folks. We don't always need our police officers tied up in that response when potentially a social worker is the right person to respond.
Well, the street outreach model will also identify encampments and help relocate people to temporary or permanent housing. Turning now to an update for you on an apartment fire in Pullman. We've learned a suspect has been arrested in connection with this fire, and according to the city officials, both Pullman Fire and Pullman Police responded to the corner of Northwest Larry and North Yates a little after 5:30 last night. Pullman Police say a resident of the complex may have intentionally caused an explosion within his unit, and the suspect was identified as 40-year-old Elijah Reagan. Police say Reagan entered a pursuit with Washington State Patrol. He did eventually agree to pull over and was taken into custody. Police say no one was injured, but some residents were displaced and had to be relocated to a shelter at the Pullman Parks and Recreation Center. Well, WSP sting has led to the arrest of at least a dozen people who responded online to officers posing as parents offering their children up for sex. The operation took place late last week and took place in both Spokane and Liberty Lake. At least 13 men and women appeared before a judge, and most were charged with attempted child rape. Well, Spokane County judge has sentenced a man to more than 14 years in prison after he was found responsible for the death of a 3-year-old boy. Court records show a Spokane mother found her 3-year-old son dead in his bed after he was alone with her boyfriend John Jones back in January of 2024. The medical examiner found the injuries to the boy's body were consistent with being in a severe car crash or falling from a 2-story building. Jones was arrested in Las Vegas. He had a sentencing hearing on Friday.
I'm sad all the time. I cry all the time. I don't sleep anymore. I haven't slept right since that night. I'm constantly thinking about the look on my son's face when I saw his lifeless body.
Jones also spoke at the hearing, saying he loved the victim and his brother, and it was all an accident. On top of his 14-year sentence, he has a life of no contact order for the mother of the victim and her surviving son. Well, a rideshare arrangement took a terrifying turn when 3 suspects allegedly attacked a man during a promised trip from Spokane to Redmond. A 39-year-old man tells Seattle police 2 men and a woman agreed to give him a ride, giving gas money to help cover the trip. The group never took the man to his destination. Instead, they drove to Seattle. The man told police the 3 people attacked him, striking him with a handgun, stealing his belongings and $180 before he broke free.
He called for help. He gave a description of the vehicle and the suspects. Officers were able to find them, and they did a high-risk stop.
The 3 were arrested, and prosecutors will decide on charges this afternoon when the 3 suspects appear back in court. Elsewhere on the west side of the state, a former math teacher at Seattle Public Schools is accused of punching a student back in 2018. Now, 7 years later, the case is finally going to trial today. The student, Zach, was 13 at the time, and the suit claims the teacher confronted him about violating the school's backpack policy. Court documents say the teacher got in his face, causing Zach to push him away. And the student claims the teacher punched him in the face twice, then pushed and shook him, banging his head on the table.
Well, if you put your hands on me, I'm gonna kill you. If you put your hands on me, they may have to surgically remove my foot from your posterior.
The student was suspended for 15 days. The teacher got a 5-day suspension and a year later was transferred to another school within the district where he continued teaching until 2021. Well, new this morning, the Nez Perce County Sheriff's Office says 9 people were cited after flashing and mooning people along the Snake River. Deputies say a group of rafters were showing off their genitals and mooned boats passing by. Deputies say that indecent exposure on boats has been an increasing problem, and they have a zero-tolerance policy for it. Idaho has launched a new website for the new parental choice tax credit program. The site myschoolchoice.idaho.gov helps families determine if they can qualify for the program. The program offers up to $5,000 in tax credit to help parents cover the cost of schooling for students outside the public school system. That amount increases to $7,500 for parents with students with a qualifying disability. Little signed the bill into law earlier this year. Well, aside from the spooky, scary theme of October, the Coeur d'Alene Police Department wants to remind you that October is also Crime Prevention Month. KREM 2's Regan Gallo, she's joining us live in the newsroom this morning to tell us what you can do to keep your neighborhood safe. Regan?
Well, good morning, Brandon. Like you said, to kick off the first full week of October, it is Crime Prevention Month, and the Coeur d'Alene Police Department encourages you to learn more about neighborhood watch groups. By partnering with the Coeur d'Alene Police Department, neighborhood watch groups help report suspicious activity, build safe communities, and share safety information. Local authorities say these watch groups also help deter crime, builds community, and overall establishes safer neighborhoods. The Coeur d'Alene Police Department wants you to contact their department and ask for the crime prevention officer to get started. That number for the crime prevention line is 208-769-2339. Now, the National Neighborhood Watch says this week is themed Home Safety Week. And looking ahead to the rest of the month, the themes are Anti-Counterfeiting Week, Public Health and Safety Week, and Community and Law Enforcement Relations Week. I'm reporting in the newsroom, Regan Gallo, KREM 2 News.